from the 10th circle of hell. Cloud Demons and the Succubuses. Here we go.
Are you ready for the DragonShip? What the hell is a Cloud Demon? If you're on social media, you know. What is a Succubus? Well, not the only thing. You know. I'm a board better. For a rising tide makes no sense. Won't be a Cloud Demon. Good God, amazing. Climb aboard.
Masculinity is in crisis. What are we to do? We need to acquire a dominant masculine presence. Now available on Amazon. Masculinity is in crisis. Men's masculine behaviors and traits have been suppressed by popular culture. Why has it become so popular to shame, guilt, insult, masculinity, and masculine behaviors? After 50 to 70 years of this has resulted in a very large subset of men who have become weak, useless, and crisis. Pathetic state for boys and men that leads to depression and violent despair. A dominant masculine presence addresses this very dilemma for the individual man, and it firmly establishes why this is what is desperately needed by the individual man today. In this book, clearly defined masculine traits and behaviors and the emotional durability provided by traditional masculinity are presented as a guide to what every man should embed into his identity. Putting these principles and behaviors into practice will motivate and direct your path step to step to create for yourself an authentic, dominant masculine presence.
I'm RP Thor, and welcome to the DragonShip.
Welcome to the DragonShip. Hey, it's Cloud Demons and the Succubuses. Winner, winner, milk, milk, taco donut dinner. Yes, I have climbed through all 9 circles of hell, and the 10th circle of hell is truly the internet. As a responsible man, I care deeply for all the women out there, and we must learn and delve into these lessons of avoiding cloud demons and succubuses in our times. Think of these are myths. You think they're legends, do you? Oh, think again. The influence is here now. It's on this imperial probe droid that's attached to your hip at all times, influencing your spirit, influencing your thoughts. Yes, it definitely is. And it's chipping away at your masculinity. And it's actually destroying our women's femininity to deprive you of your destiny as a man. It's a billion-dollar industry to recruit succubi and cloud demons that roam the cloud, birthing false hopes, fake successes, casting the spell from that imperial probe droid. I mean, Poon worship is rampant in every corner of the globe at this point. So, Thor, what do we look for? How do we navigate this sea of chocolate starfish? Body counts, histories, mercenary behaviors. And as a bonus, we might even, talk to a couple of reformed cloud demons or succubuses. There is a path, my 304, to redemption. Listen carefully. Only on this panel show are we the rising tide. That's right, a rising tide that lifts all ships. Let me bring in my esteemed panel, and Glenn Lawrence, my theological expert. Where are you when we're talking about cloud demons and succubi? Here we go. Look who we have with us. The esteemed Come On Man podcast and the current reigning world manosphere champion, Rule Zero. And amazing. And where is that puny little weakling challenger that thinks he's an expert at taking that belt away from you?
He's scared. He's scared. I think it's pretty obvious.
Can he even show up today?
No. But but would you if you were him? I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, well, at least he'll make a showing and plead his case for a moment. Or is he sucked up with a succubi right now? Hard to tell. Because they cast a vicious spell. Look who's back from his esteemed adventures. It is my good friend, Wraith Detour. Wraith, you're a little dark. Hope we can get some light on your face, because you're quite a handsome man, and you're well known at slaying the succubi yourself with your intimate knowledge of wisdom and life. Welcome on board the DragonShip, my friend. How are you doing? What have you been up to? How's your group?
Just coaching men. That's not kind of what I do these days. So I spend a lot of time doing that, and had one of the guys out last week.
Yeah.
Spent I think about 4 days with me. We just hung out and talked and had a good time.
Certainly met some very good and close personal friends through this right here. Even though we live in the 10th circle of hell on the internet, you can find gleaming gems of individuals with character, believe it or not. And I like that.
I had New Metal Alchemist was out here.
He's a good kid, man. I really like that guy.
Yeah, he is.
I try to get him on the DragonShip occasionally. He's a good man. Definitely a part of the Dragons membership, and we like that too. I got to get over there to you, Paul. The beer club's really taken off, man, and I love the concept. I will. I'm going to join it, so we'll be there as often as I can.
The next one is April 28th.
Perfect. April. Wait, that's a long time.
I mean, sorry. Jesus Christ. September. I need more coffee. Where's my Rule Zero mug?
Yeah, you need more just once a month. Yeah. And I'm going to bring on the honored nuclear Navy Slayer, Nuclear Cadil. Welcome, my friend. And I got to talk to you a little bit about that piano too one day, because I'm interested in music. So, how you doing, brother?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Just got back from a vacation, so I'm feeling rejuvenated, and I'm ready to get back more into streaming. So good, nice to be back on the DragonShip, guys. You know where to find me. Linktree, Nuclear Calillo. That's where all my stuff is, and we're gonna have a great show today. So thanks.
Hopefully, you can take another vacation out in October 7th.
Yeah, I think
Fall Fight Club.
I'm 90% sure I'm going. So just gotta work
Good.
out a couple things.
I need an insurance policy. You know what I mean? An insurance policy.
Yeah.
Well, I might be the ref, so I might just,
I got my mask ready. So.
Little graft might help.
Okay. All right. I see you.
Yeah.
You got the Rey Mysterio mask? Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's in Mexico,
man.
so handmade. Yeah.
I want to bring on another Succubi Cloud Demon warrior from Twitter. Another fellow Viking that we love to have as a guest here on the DragonShip, who may be joining us in the future for more of these streams, but he has definitely been viciously slaying these Succubi on the X, I guess we call it now, which is quite appropriate, actually. Viking Dad Wisdom, welcome, sir. How are you?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Good. I've been watching your tweets, man. You've been slamming some of these Succubi on there, coming out of that imperial probe droid with all its propaganda.
Just treat them like the most mature teenager in the house.
That's true. And I want to offer them some hope at the end of it. If you're a 304 and you've enjoyed your life and you're having a lot of fun with it in your 20s, there is hope. There is a path available to you, dear.
You can stick that landing.
Well, it will be a stuck landing, but you might have to land on your tail gear, but that's okay. There is a path forward because we love you all and we would like to see you actually, stick that landing at some point. So, a lot of this is just fun, but of course, definitely going to have some fun. You guys want to get into this thing? What brought this to my mind? And of course, I'm having fun tongue in cheek about this whole cloud demons, but think of it this way. Throughout our entire history, we had these myths about demons, right? Oh, there you go. Unicorn, isn't it great?
We had a question.
Unicorns. But every unicorn I've ever eaten, I come to find out they're actually rhinoceroses.
Ah!
It's a common mistake.
There isn't any unicorns. They're
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Just lipstick on a rhinoceros, and the bad ones that are the dumpster rhinos. Just so you know, they're the flavor's a little off, shall we say? Yeah. So here we are battling demons today, and it's not as obvious. I mean, back in yesteryear, we had the myths, the legends, the churches to help stay in guidelines, but now, our brain is directly connected to instant access and information, and our drives are out there. And I think every man would sex is such a large driver. Men take advantage of other men because of this. They know what a driver this is and what men will go through to even think that they can acquire, high quality poon. I call it, being poonmatized. And it's a big problem with this 10th circle of hell called the internet and social media, is that poonmatization is so easily accomplished. And when it happens, much like sucking lifeblood out of your soul deep in the night when the succubus comes to have sex with you, the promise of a good girl that's interested in you for exactly who you are is too strong of a pull. And what made me think about this, guys, is I want to add this to the stream. Let's take a look here. This is the 2022 earnings for a small website that's been recently developed called OnlyFans. Any of you guys hear of this?
No, what is this OnlyFans that you speak of?
This has got to be a really interesting. It definitely resides in the 10th circle of hell, and it's very attractive because it recruits fresh, young, innocent, feminine girls to become succubi as a component of their career. Which, as today we're teaching young women through social media, propaganda, and academia that career is God. And you must worship this God before you're 35. Now, to me, that's quite sinister because the end result is a destruction of her potential future fulfillment and legacy. Because women over 35, if you've looked up any of the stats, their likelihood that they will have children and actually have a marriage that is even remotely successful is extremely remote, but that is not what's being promised. Just to sidetrack it, let's get back to OnlyFans. It promises, with almost a Faustian deal, all of this wealth, work from your home, travel to interesting locations, and increase your body count with no ramifications, because all the money will come in to cover that wound, that gaping slit of a wound, shall we say. And let's just look at what it does. The revenue last year for OnlyFans was up by 1.09 billion. That's a 17% gain in revenue in 1 year. Profit for the company, $525 million, 21% up. This is not a public company, gentlemen. This is a private investment. God, where was I as an accredited investor when this was launching? This one would have been a good one, although it might have qualified me as a cloud demon should I have invested in it. However,
hey, $20 is $20.
$20 is $20, right?
Right.
And nothing against the creators. This is too. The draw is huge. I get it. Payment to creators, $5.6 billion. That is 5.6 billion, guys. That is
Hey, there's car companies that would kill for that kind of growth.
of course, that have been around for 100 years. And all of this, chocolate starfish marketing. It's amazing. And they're relying on man's starfish navigation system to lead them to the promised land.
Mm-hmm.
Paying users up $238 million, up 27%. Gentlemen, you understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about cloud demons and succubi. This is the promise of the girl next door, or the Jezebel that's just for you. And that's what brings me to this interesting PubMed. This PubMed has unusual cases of the succubus, a cultural phenomenon manifesting as part of psychopathy. Interestingly, the succubus was known as a demon female lover who approaches males in their dreams to have sex. This is a phenomenon which is rarely described in psychiatric literature. It is more identified as a cultural belief in different religions. However, I found out this crosses all religions. And this may be rooted in the fact that the male sex drive is so strong and he has these nocturnal emissions, and many times they're followed with, sex dreams, essentially. We report 2 cases diagnosed with schizophrenia. Now, keep in mind, that is actually a study on them. But case number 2 is really interesting. Does this not describe a certain population that exists today and has access through this imperial probe droid known as a smartphone to actualize on some of his innermost desires very easily at the cost of spending money, spend it as a subscription, and even borrow money? And in order to satisfy this, I mean, this talks about a 24-year-old male who's been using cannabis, and in his condition, he was delusional a little bit about love. Obviously, he didn't have any really good social acuity. At the presentation, when they're doing the examination, he's kind of untidy, ill-kept, had a blunt effect. I mean, he's describing somebody who has the spectrum right here. Although there was no formal thought disorder, when he was asked about this psychopathology, he described voices he heard of one of his female teachers who would express her love towards him in conversations heard as part of the auditory hallucinations. He also ascribed tactile hallucinations to the same teacher. He continued this and he grew it in his mind. This is a really interesting thing. Due to all of these symptoms that he had, it started to consume him, and he had to discontinue his education. He became housebound based on available information. The diagnosis of schizophrenia and cannabis dependence was considered. But this is not unique. This is really interesting. You can see what we're faced with a lot of times. This unique Twitter was provided for us by Paul. He put it out this morning, and how apropos. here is Paul illustrating some of what we're talking about here. Here's this poor chap in the middle watching some of this stuff online, particularly some of these dating shows, right? Hypergamy, cheaters, divorce. And lo and behold, here is this beautiful yellow, desirous something. He's getting kicked in the butt by divorce here. And who is it? But it's the OnlyFans. I pay, I get to play. Very, very interesting, is it not? And
well, it's funny too, because we know from our mutual friend, Mr. Tomasi, and his colleague, Mr. Sartain, that a lot of these women that go on these shows, that these guys are calling hoes and 304s and making them look like, garbage. And these guys are, paying $100 super chats to get their revenge fantasies.
right.
After they're done paying $100 for that super chat, they're going to turn around and subscribe to that girl's OnlyFans page, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like 1,000 subs just for going on that show and being humiliated. But it's like they're the real winners,
They really truly are, and it's really interesting. I think a portion of this actually existed before social media took on the presence that it had. Any other comments on this opening kind of monologue dialogue with you guys as far as Cloud Demons and Succubi? Because I'm going to demonstrate that it doesn't exist only in females here. Men drive this, kind of this drain on other men of lower status levels, shall we say. And social media has enabled it. Now I'm going to show you some demonstrations of what that actually is via video in a minute. But any other comments on this? I mean, Viking Dad, you see this shit all the time on Twitter. I mean, you're pretty prolific on Twitter, and so is Nuke. We got to get Wraith on Twitter, but it might be too time consuming because it's too fun.
I want to see Wraith on TikTok.
Oh, God, TikTok would be great.
He would delete his account so fast.
Yeah, those could be definitely. They suck the lifeblood out of you if you're talking about time. For sure.
What's sad to me about this whole situation is that this stuff, the succubi, it's seeping into every male hobby, every entertainment, everything, right? So anything as wholesome as, let's say you go to an anime convention or a nerdy convention with, you'll see women half naked there advertising their Instagrams and their OnlyFans, right? And this is for kids. Like most of the stuff here is like it. I mean, as adults we enjoy it, but it starts as a kid, right? So they start them young.
Look at the Disney example.
Yeah.
Shit. They take Maleficent, who is a copy of Baphomet, and now she's the hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
so right.
The video game industry is the same. You'll go on Twitch or whatever platform, and it'll be like a young kid playing his video game. You'll be like, okay, he's pretty good. And then right next to it is a girl with her whole half her chest out, and she's playing the same video game, but she's terrible at it. But she has 10 times the guys watching her, and not the kid who's actually pretty good and has pretty funny commentary, right? So it's just like everywhere you go now, it's like a virus or a fungus that is just in everything. And even if you go scroll on your Instagram and you're like, oh, I only search for dogs, like my dog breed, and maybe funny jokes and maybe red pill stuff, right? But still, if you're scrolling and then you see a girl with a Shiba Inu dog with her ass out, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, like I'm just looking up puppies. How is this possible? It's everywhere now. So it's affecting everything.
It actually started even on cable,
including the red pill
news. Oh, definitely. In fact, I want to go through that. I want to show you guys some stuff. Let's get through a couple of these tabs, and I want to get to the videos, because when I am describing these cloud demons, men instigate this, and they do it commercially. It's really, really interesting. And I think that's why it is so prevalent, is actually because of men that ascribe to this on both ends, the upper class that are organizing and pressing us, knowing the psychology of young men and men in general. And then the women are being really, this is an easy thing because feminism has glorified career as God for them. And early on, they have such a high value, being that they have their sexual is their sexuality is their primary agency. It's so easy. And you couple that with a man's starfish navigation system, and we can make lots of money on that, so to speak. So let me get right back. I'm going to get right back into it with this. Here's the tweet, Paul. This is really good. I want to get in this one right here. I don't know. This is hard to read, but this is an interesting link I have. I could put these into the notes, but here is the Succubus and a true romance of the 21st century. And this describes a supernatural female entity. Imagine a female entity online that's engaging in sexual intercourse, imaginary, with a mortal man. Because in some ways, being on the internet, it's somewhat this fantasy of this immortalized woman, because we all know that Simps is a sucker immortalizing mediocre pussy. It's being presented to him. And what happens is his life force is being exhausted and or perishes. So this is a really interesting article on what this is. It states at the bottom, by definition and persuasion, she is a taker, a conqueror, a powerful being driven nonetheless by a great hunger and prodigious needs. Very interesting. It really describes some of the OnlyFans girls and then their patrons, their fans. You know, it is an exchange. I would never ban an exchange like this. This is an important exchange because it creates lessons, and you need to understand that not only does it do that, but it also creates a lot of roadblocks for the guys that really get hooked into this. It's playing on such primal drives and such primal desires. I do predict that AI will supplant this because it'll be much more adept at being able to sense a man's desires and go right at this. And truly, that will be the 11th circle of hell. So let's get into it. Succubi, cloud demons. Did they not start before the internet? But just think for a minute. If you had an embodiment of folks that bend to their instinctual will. Speaking of a will, that is a will. This is in August. This, anybody want to say succubi? Well, it goes beyond this. This poor guy. And I want to talk about this guy a little bit later too. He has a book out, and the book is called, and it's entitled, and I did read the summaries. It's entitled, Think Like a Man, Act Like a Lady. Directed at men in relationships.
Yeah.
And there is truth. There is grains of truth put in here. But I noticed it was written by a ghostwriter. And in the ghostwriter, you can see it's a woman. It has been emotionalized, particularly not to sell to men. It is about men, but it's kind of to sell to women. It's very, very unusual. And I just did a quick comparison because this has been out for a long time. It's sold a lot of copies. So I went over and I looked it up. Here it is, right here. And this is Act Like a Lady. Oh, it's Act Like a Lady, men, and Think Like a Man. What men really think about love, relationships, and intimacy. Interesting. This one is actually categorized in mate seeking and relationships, and it has a rating of 119 in mate seeking and 2,400 in interpersonal skills. Oh, somebody else has a book that wasn't written for mate seeking at all, but it happens to be A Dominant Masculine Presence by somebody we might know. And it is rated at 116 ahead of.
You got him.
Yeah, my man.
And it's not even a dating book, and it's 989, and it's 2,300 in interpersonal relations, for which I actually tagged it to be. So I thought you might find that kind of entertaining, gentlemen, to say the least. We're going to get into this, though, because this guy actually broadcast that it was men's fault. It was really the Matthew Hussey grind with emotion and a lot of Southern preaching. And there's emotional anger here. And what's interesting about this guy right here is it looks like he was actually capable of being a player and understanding this early on. And so what happened? This is, I'll use this example when we get into videos. This is an example of drinking your own Kool-Aid too much. You know, when you drink your Kool-Aid too much, it becomes cloudy. You can't see through it. This happens with people that have fame too. They start to believe their own line of bullshit. And you'll find this when you do screen gurus. This is a big factor, particularly when you make a lot of money, because money we equate with success, we equate with rightness. So if you're going to drink your own Kool-Aid, gentlemen, like this, and start to believe your own bullshit, make sure you're drinking Crystal Light so you can at least still see through the Kool-Aid when you're drinking it. And I have to do an episode on that about fame, because I actually have people that are famous in my family and they walked away from it. There's just interesting dynamics. And I think no human is immune to it, particularly if you start to get a lot of attention. None of us are immune to it. You've seen the greatest men in societies fall to being poonmatized. I believe that this guy self-poonmatized himself over her. He poonmatized himself. You guys know what poonmatized is, right? Mm-hmm. It's like being hypnotized, although it's far, far worse, because once you have that, it permeates you. It's like the force. It drives you and you can't escape until there is a crash. Speaking of crash, this young man,
you mean a train wreck,
aka Cloud Demon #1 right now, actually does make his living as a cloud demon, literally selling stuff, bashing other people by name, creating these spectacles. And his girlfriend is a gal named Nina Agdal. And so he decided to pick a fight and then make it worth some money on pay-per-view with this young man. And just to demonstrate how Cloud Demons and Succubi work, let's just take a look at her for a minute. And, I don't know what happened here. Logan Paul, he insists his relationship is much better with his fiancée, Nina Agdal, after Dylan Dana shared X-rated video. I don't know about X-rated. I didn't see anything.
Wait, he shared it? He actually shared it?
No, he did not. This is clickbait. But what's going on here, guys, this gal, Nina, we've counted at least 160 men we think have slept with her publicly on her internet. She's like 24. But look at this, or 25. But
those are rookie numbers.
Well, remember, times by 3, right? The rule on the red pill is times 3. This guy's
did
Leonardo
DiCaprio. Did she end up getting a little too long in the tooth for old Leo there? Or?
Yes, she did. But wait a minute. She still has the amazing ability as a succubi to poonmatize even more men. This guy Dylan has picked up on it as part of his psychological warfare strategy. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
All day, every day.
It's been like a month, right?
This is a picture of her with more men. I don't think that's a casual relationship. Oh, girls can do anyone. Girls can do anything. This is the takeoff on girls can do anything. And somebody put this with Nina Agdal. Girls can do anyone. Oh, another Chad. Ooh, she is the Chad killer. This is just some amazing. Oh, that's a friendship.
Jesus Christ.
That's just a common friendship.
She's just friendly, She
must be French.
Now, I will offer a solution to girls like this.
Not that show, too. Jesus Christ.
Yes, body count does matter, but I will tell you there's a way out for these 304s, and I'll describe it in the show. Please remind me, there is a redemption path. It might not be the one they want, but there's a lot out there. I was even going to put up the one with that late 50s porn gal, Lisa Ann. She's complaining that, she can't normally date men because of the, she belongs to the 10,000 Mile Club. And you guys all know what 10,000 Mile Club is. It's measured in inches. Let's just put it that way. Ran through. No. So let's listen to what he has to say.
Her and wanted a photo. Yes.
So this is Logan Paul, the Cloud Demon, explaining this, why it's not really her fault, because guys just want pictures with her.
Yes, guys came up to her and wanted to take photos, including LeBron, who fucking came up to her and wanted a photo. Yes, guys came up.
LeBron just wanted a photo with her.
Guys love complicating their lives and justifying why. I learned that from Rich Cooper.
Here's another dude. I mean, no doubt about it. She has a certain, she has got that succubi presence about her that almost poomatizes you just from the photo. I got to say that's definitely a blessing. It's a talent she was born with, not something that she developed. Look at this. So here he is complaining about this. He's starting to get really emotional. This is that guy Dylan posting stuff.
He's
Still.
attacking an uninvolved third party, a woman, and it's all he has. The amount of dirt I have on Dylan just sitting in my
Cloud
phone.
Demons and
I wanna
Succubi.
go there.
For him, it's just been relentless, man. He was hoping he would try break you guys, but if anything, it's probably made you guys stronger.
I love this girl
Yeah.
so fucking much.
Yeah.
Nothing will get between us. Not some fucking fake lying internet troll whose life has devolved to pretending to be a fighter, stalking women, harassing them, and plastering them on his social media. He's a fucking loser, bro. He's
You know what?
attacking and
How much of this is all
far-
kayfabe though?
far,
How much
far-
of this is
well,
all
well,
kayfabe?
here's the thing. It does start as kayfabe.
Mhm.
But as I take you through the rest, I think you're going to find out this is tipped past.
Mm.
I think there's a psychological. I think he's gone just past it, and I don't know whether it's going to help him in the fight.
The best kayfabe in pro wrestling though is the ones that actually blur the line with reality. Like, oh, this might be real, right?
You know
like
what?
there was a beef a couple years ago with between Edge and Matt Hardy, because Matt Hardy was dating Lita, right? Lita was a female wrestler.
Yeah.
And well, Lita and Edge started traveling together and they ended up starting hooking up. And it came out that Edge was banging Matt Hardy's girl.
Sure.
And so the WWE turned it into an angle, but those guys were legit fucking hated each other, you know?
Yeah.
But they made a lot of money off of it. You know what I mean?
True. Did you ever hear the story? Not to sidetrack too far. So I just want to know if you heard it.
Yeah.
But with Roddy Piper and his co-actor in that movie, they had got so into the character that they did the kayfabe so much their fight actually turned into a fight in the movie.
Yeah,
And that's what made it real. That blood was real blood, and it's a big story about it. And after the whole movie is over, they were still friends. And they had a good time, but that's how far they got in.
It's the longest fight scene in cinema history,
and it's real. It's like holy shit! Talk about acting, method acting, right? So I'm going to get back here, and I want to ask you guys. So I think that the one theme you're going to see here, and I want to put this in the audience's mind as well, what is being promoted here with the Cloud Demons and the Succubi ultimately is the sale of One-Itis and Soul Myth. You'll see. I'm going to show you this is the thread, and this is the thread that's been out there forever, and this really does sell. Look at the Matthew Hussey's his program. While they may have some red pill knowledge, I'm going to show you some of these female dating coaches too. It still drives towards One-Itis and Soul Myth. All of it, even if they deny it, you can pick it out once you can see it. So here we go. So the next one is just this one, I think, tipped the edge. You guys seen this one?
Oh yeah, I saw that one. Oh god, that one's so bad.
Listen,
no.
This is Nina Agdal. This was put out yesterday or the day before. This is Logan Paul's fiance. And he sends this tweet from her that she publicly posted on TikTok a little while ago. Morning.
By the way, I'm very proud of myself. This is the longest I've ever gone without sex since I started. Obviously, it's driving me crazy. I am struggling. I need penis inside of me. ASAP. Like, all I want is like a big fat sausage just destroying my body. So if any of you guys know a good dick that doesn't have STDs on it, I'll take it. Right here.
Okay, so
She
gentle.
seems nice.
Doesn't she seem like a sweetheart? Hang on. There we go. Doesn't she seem like a sweetheart? Now, my question here is yes, kayfabe. I think this tipped it. I really do. You can't get away from this. And this is part of the issue. And this is why succubi do exist. It's purpose driven. There's a lot of solipsism going on here. But definitely there's some components here. I'm going to play a couple other clips just to get in the mood of having the conversation afterwards. Okay. So now, not just her, but like Logan Paul. Oh, I didn't want that one. I wanted this one. All right. This one is at click. Make sure this is the right setting.
I was dogging on you. What? I was dogging on you. No, to you. Yeah, I don't know if you remember this. I was like, Andrew, yo, best of luck with that married life. Yeah. Fucking dweeb. Yeah. And you're like, if you find the right woman, it doesn't seem so bad. And I remember thinking, this guy doesn't know anything. Yeah. Andrew was right.
I was fucking right.
Yeah.
I was right. Until Bill and Dennis entered the chat.
So it was played fast, but did you catch the one-itis part? Pretty interesting, huh? Here we go. There's some more.
Pull up the clip. Dudes, Kim, that's what's wrong with this generation today. These young boys today, what do she bring to the table? The hell you mean, man? What do your ass bring to the table? You got a woman that can come to the table that can make another you. What else you need to slide up to the table with? What about your job? What happened to men who were supposed to be responsible? Do you know that it's our job to take care of a woman and some children, to have a family? That's our damn job. Do men lie so much? Because we are afraid.
Interesting.
Steve Harvey, we owe women a better life.
Dude, and this is all about, his book is about one-itis. Absolutely how to bury yourself in this circular thinking. And this is what OnlyFans plays on too, is that girlfriend experience. Now, I think I'm seeing emotional cracks here. Check it out.
Dylan says this, right? And he sent it to some people. He said, there's a picture that's going to end there, whatever.
Yeah.
Is it you with a guy?
Look at his face.
Son,
Dispel the rumor.
dispel the rumor, because that would end a fiance.
Do you have an idea of what it is? I don't think he has a photo. Really?
Now, did you have a conversation with Nina where you're like, yo, talk to us?
100%.
This is so pathetic. This is so pathetic.
any idea what
Jesus
He's
Christ.
doing damage control, in my opinion, right now.
It's fear. It's all fear. This is a fear response from both of them because they're looking at this and what's his name? Andrew Scholes. He's thinking in his mind, man, my girl might have done something too. And I don't, what if someone goes after me? And it's a fear response,
Yeah, no shit. I think so too. Now, very interesting. So I'm going to get to a part where I'm going to show Destiny's wife, and I actually agree with the presenter. I think she tells on herself, but we'll get to that. How about this Succubi? Anybody familiar with this Succubi?
Oh yeah,
I've only ever heard of her name. I'm not familiar with her.
So she went the rounds on, Adam's Sosnick's show. She went on Fresh and Fit. She went on Pearl's show, and she was kind of reformed on Pearl's show. It's like, I've been through the 304 thing. PJ Washington, I think, had a kid with her. Yada yada yada. So here she is, had a little White Claw, and the true Succubus comes out. And here we go.
At the end of the day, I tried to force something that wasn't mine. That wasn't my person, and that's okay. He's sitting over there, motherfucking. Shut the fuck up!
Oh shit!
Shut the fuck up when I'm talking.
None of these guys put her in
Shut
the
the fuck up when I'm
pocket.
talking. Because if you ever felt real love to where you have a motherfucking second-degree tear, hello?
Hello?
Oh shit!
Hello? You don't know what it's fucking like.
Oh shit!
I'm sorry. I meant to hit this nigga.
Wrong guy.
Let me tell you
Wrong guy,
something.
champ. Wrong guy,
Shut the
champ.
fuck up. This right here is about to go. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
Shut up when I'm fucking talking. Yo, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit you. I meant to hit that nigga. Because you sitting over here laughing.
Someone should tell her to calm down.
I ain't chilling.
Relax.
Because at the end of the day, it ain't your pussy. Hey, listen. I hear you. Hey, listen. That's fine. But guess what? You protecting him is what it is. Is it not?
Okay, that's enough. She's talking about she had a second-degree tear of her vagina when she had the baby. The audacity of this woman to do this with no modesty. It's really character revealing. We'll see more of this later when she actually goes fucking crazy. She can't let go of any of this stuff. And the guys aren't being mean to her. She just loses it. And the true demon comes out. So I made this montage at 1.5 speed. Stop me at any time, guys.
My fiance is a fucking angel.
Hello.
Cloud Demons.
I don't feel like going online.
She's like the nicest person. I think for him, he was hoping he would try break you guys, but if anything, it's probably made you guys stronger.
So much stronger.
So it's like it's a hell for him.
I love this girl. So nothing will get between us. Not some fake lying internet troll whose life has devolved to pretending to be a fighter, stalking women, harassing them, and plastering them on his social media. He's an empty, unaccomplished, unfulfilled loser. If he shows up,
I get to end him. I want you to annihilate.
I got you,
bro.
JJ.
Please, bro, for the love of.
Get out this video. Yes, guys came up to her and wanted to take photos, including LeBron, who came up to her and wanted a photo.
Now, accompanying that video, Dylan with the caption, this man just actually said LeBron James came up to Nina effing Agdal, an E-list model, and asked for a picture. You can't write this stuff. I'm dead. That's effing hilarious. Like, yeah.
Because that's ever gone without sex since I started. Obviously, it's driving me crazy. I am struggling.
She's struggling, guys.
Inside of me.
Anybody want to help her?
Like all I want is like a big fat sausage just destroying my body. So if any of you guys know a good that doesn't have STDs on it, I'll take it right here. Yeah.
A month ago to a girl. Does anybody know her name? Nina Agdal, who's actually a girl from Miami that I used to kick it with, and not one, not two, but three of my homeboys dated.
That was the one where I was like, enough, like enough.
Oh, yeah, hang on. Which one was that? That was the one. What? Okay, here we go.
Because of it, obviously, you have things in your past that I did not know you personally. But definitely, you know, I wasn't sure I wanted to be associated with that, and now
people that I shared my body with because they didn't deserve it, but that was an outcome of me discounting my worth and completely changed. And I just want to was an outcome impulsive about my list, but a lot of the decisions she made, and not even necessarily because of like the societal.
Here we go. Here we go. Sorry, I was
I
skipping
didn't have a
around.
child. You know, I had a second-degree tear. You know what that looks like?
Hello?
No modesty whatsoever.
Hello? A second-degree tear. You know what that looks like?
I mean, that boy was that big when you had it.
He was, I think it was 8.1.5.
That means she had a big baby.
Almost 9 pounds, right?
Another NBA player.
Does that matter to you? Does that matter to you? Who had such a motherfucking opinion about me?
Wait,
Does that
time out.
matter?
It's group.
Hold
My
on.
opinion changed.
Hold on.
She took the frame, guys.
Motherfucking question.
No, it didn't initially. No, hell.
Okay, I had a second-degree tear. That means they sewed me up.
Yeah, okay.
Right. You know what that means? That means I love that motherfucker. My pussy was fucking split open for him.
Right.
You understand that? He was 9 pounds.
So elegant.
Okay.
Classy, too.
Good for you.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
baby was almost 9 pounds. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't they sew most women up anyway? They give them the husband stitch.
Don't we wish?
Every one of the motherfuckers that are commenting, she's doing too much. She's at the end of the day, this pussy had a second.
Hey, K-Dan,
degree tear.
Christopher,
You know what that means?
marriage causes divorce.
What is it?
Happy to have you guys on board. Bear with us.
Wait a minute. Yeah, boy had a head like his daddy. Yeah, boy, your boy had a head like his daddy. I heard her say that. But you
I
know,
said
we
it
can
100 fucking times.
Hey, listen.
Hello?
Hey, listen, now
Say
listen.
that when I fucking say, shut the fuck up when a real bitch is talking.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up.
Take the road.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
What a real bitch.
I know. I think, though, who hasn't gone through or at least witnessed something like this, you know?
That wasn't my person. And that's okay. He's sitting over there, motherfucking. Shut the fuck up.
Oh shit.
Shut up.
Now,
Shut the fuck up when I'm
if a
talking.
guy threw something at a gal on a podcast, you think that'd
Have
go
you ever
over?
felt real love to where you have a motherfucking second-degree tear?
No, we had MLD walked off of a show, and that was like a news for a whole fucking week.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna hit this nigga. Let me tell you something.
Hit somebody else, too.
This right here is gonna go.
She throws a water ball, and it's just like, yeah, you know, whatever. It's just women being women.
Because you sitting over here
You
laughing.
see any leadership with these guys?
Chill. Relax.
I ain't chilling.
Relax.
Because at the end of the day, it ain't your pussy.
None at all. They're watching a show right now.
They're not doing anything.
But guess what?
No, they're just getting entertained. They're just watching her act a fool.
Is it not?
See, it's wrong, nigga.
Hey, don't be sitting over there laughing. Let me tell you, I ain't talking to you.
I wouldn't
ain't
give her
talking to
any
you right
oxygen. I'd stop the feed and then I'd clip it to destroy her later.
They're just thinking about their
You should
engagement.
never- yeah, you should never do this. Watch, she's gonna get worse.
Producer should cut the mic and be like, mm-mm.
Yeah.
Oh, look at their face. They have lost all their frame and don't know what to do. The only one with a similar, some kind of frame is him, and he's a guest, so he doesn't know if he should step over and take it on.
Talk about shit. Ain't nobody drunk bitch about nothing. What's up? What's up?
Yeah, I just put my headphones down. Just
Now
watching
she's
the
actually
family.
challenging.
We family.
This is Charleston's people, not mine.
Yeah,
It's Charleston's
yeah,
people.
yeah. No, we family.
He said you all right. I don't give a fuck what you talking about.
Tell him.
Back me my shit then.
It's all good.
Back me my shit then.
Come on.
Let's see if I can get. Here we go. This is pretty funny. Now she's just gonna go crazy.
Everybody cool, guys. Everybody cool.
It is what it is.
Holy fuck, man.
Do you think
Why-
she's on
who-
any kind of antidepressants or SSRIs or?
Yes.
Like who's in charge of her? Like who's like? Does she have family or something?
No,
Does she have
Like,
a-
does anyone-
worse. It's worse
Does
than
she have a
that.
conservatorship like fucking?
No. Wait till she starts twerking. So none of this works. So when none of this works the way she wants it, what do you do? Whip out your pussy, right?
That nigga ain't hear shit. No, this is my touch up. Listen, let me tell you something. Don't nobody can tell me shit about shit. At the end of the day, Charleston.
Yes, ma'am.
This
Yes, ma'am.
the motherfucking real nigga right
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
He didn't say
Anybody
shit.
Understand him? He understand me. We want to understand each other.
He pulling away from her.
Yeah, I got a good grip.
Yeah, I see.
He's about to
He's
flip
like, I
out
don't
of that
want, I
chair.
don't want none of that.
I can tell you play sports.
Mm.
I can tell you play sports.
Yeah, I did.
I can tell.
Yeah, I did.
Shit, ma'am.
You gotta.
She's scared.
Yeah.
What we doing,
Shut up,
Charleston?
Yeah, he is. He don't know what to do. He's like, oh shit.
These Renaissance factor. Shut up, bitch. While real bitches talking.
All right, so let's reset. Get back to what we were talking
What are we
about.
talking about?
We're of peace, love, health, and wealth.
All right.
Grade 2 tears.
So she doesn't let it go. It's not going her way. I'll just get you guys here. Let's see. Here we go.
Isn't that Miss Ma'am?
This is like 40 minutes of this shit. I cut it down. Now, since it doesn't work, what do you do when you're a succubi?
You know what
Turn
though?
into Howard Stern.
This is why women are like cats.
Go ahead and get the people.
You know.
Let me
Like,
start pulling my cooch out here, rubbing it on a guy.
This is why women are like cats, right? You know, guys are
Okay.
all
Even
so
though-
busy chasing these women. It's like when you chase a cat, the cats run away. But if you act like you don't want anything to do with the cat comes up and sits on your face.
Yes.
What's the other name for a cat?
Pussy.
Pussy.
She said it about 15 times.
Hypnotized. Hey, sorry for the length on that, but I think there was a lot of lessons to learn there when I talk about succubi. This woman's made her money being on the internet, guys, and the fact that she took a baby daddy for her passive income, and she thinks she deserves more. Why? Because she had a 2nd-degree tear on her pussy. Vagina.
Why not?
You know. Now, did she learn this on her own? Or did she get lured into it and actually just accept it fully? I don't see any reason why a young gal that doesn't have any guidance of a dominant masculine presence in her life that wouldn't look at this model and want to, you know, suck these men dry on the internet. They're isolated. All you got to do is send some texts, you know, play to their desires, you know, their deep-rooted desires. Most are sexless right now. Good Lord. Talk about demons, man. Anyway, that's my take. I have a couple more like 1-minute clips that are going to be pretty funny because I'm going to show Destiny's wife telling on herself about her activity, but it's only like a 1 minute. We'll save that for a little bit later, and then how these 304s can redeem themselves. So what do you think about Brittany, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, like, how do I get in contact with her? Because she sounds like a barrel of monkeys.
Yeah, what's her email?
What's her email? That's my whole point, gentlemen. She has an OnlyFans, I think.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let me just sign up for that.
You know
let's all go subscribe. Let's be part of the problem, guys.
Hey, but this happens. You know, it happened with the Fresh and Fit. Get on Fresh and Fit, Access Vegas, or whatever. Most of those girls have OnlyFans. And while the guys want to see somebody basically dirty talking the girl and putting her in a place, I mean, we're hearing stuff like bedroom talk that's really kind of immodest. You know, oh, you're a whore, this and that. You like the cock ran through you, all that sort of stuff, right? But then those same guys that are offering all these $100 super chats run right over there and sign up for their OnlyFans. Wasn't it? Myron came on, and one of the gals that was really taking a lot of flack, he tracked it, and she ended up with 5,000 additional subscribers on one show.
5,000. Holy crap.
It's like, oh my God. Yeah. They get subscribers by this. Why do you think they're making their tours? You know?
Yeah.
But it goes beyond just OnlyFans. As I'll get into this a little bit later and I'll touch on it, the wholesome girl next door is now making a rise. I see the 304 is backing off as these girls get into their 30s. You know, you ever see the meme where they show the 2 trash cans and they show, you know, the recycle one for paper. It's a nice little, you know, slot for the paper to get slid into. And then you got the other trash can has a big old gaping hole. And the one says, you know, I'm finding myself, and the other one's ready to settle down. Right. So now you're going to see a bunch of ready to settle downs out there. And I'm seeing the wholesome girls next door doing something really interesting. They're taking pieces of the red pill that these guys have watched, and they're interspersing it. And I think men are behind it. And they're interspersing that language in with, I'm the girl next door. Don't you want a one-itis with a girl like me? You can have it if you watch my videos or subscribe to my subscription. I only have 5 VIP seats left. And there is a ton of these with massive numbers of subscribers. And most of these girls, no tattoos. No tattoos. They're wearing wholesome looking milfy clothes, you know, in some cases. And so there's a shift, but they're not selling essentially their starfish picture. They're selling a different dream. Like, you could get a girl like me if you listen to what I have to say. That's interesting. Any of you guys notice this?
Are you talking about like the female dating coaches?
It could be, or relationship experts. They're calling themselves now. They're not even calling themselves dating anymore.
Oh yeah. I'm not going to name names, but there's one in particular that comes into mind where, you know, she's all about, you know, men's issues and stuff like that. But then occasionally she'll post like a TikTok of her like seductively eating a banana.
Correct.
It's like, you know exactly what you're doing, you know?
Now these, I think, are the next level succubi, in my opinion, because I have done some research on that. And it's exactly what you say, Paul. You look far enough, you start to see stuff like Nina Agdal in the past. So interesting. I'm just bringing it up for conversation. I know Paul's really on top of shit. What about you, Nuke? What's your thoughts on these Cloud Demons and Succubi?
Well, with Brittany Renner, the black community especially has an obsession with her. She's like the BPD girlfriend. I think Rolo said it. She's the BPD girlfriend of the black community, right? She just keeps coming back.
The Amber
Yeah,
Heard.
he said that once.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like, yeah, Amber Heard is another one. And the thing is, like, it almost feels like these women are like paving the way for younger, more impressionable women to act like this, right? And now guys are going to have to double down even harder on their boundaries because they see this stuff. And yeah, they may not act like Brittany Renner or Amber Heard or Nina Agdal or whatever, but they may empathize with them, right? They may look at her like, oh, she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I was like, no, like, you opened your legs for a guy and you got pregnant. You fully understood that if you had sex with a guy, you got pregnant. And part of being pregnant, like, you know, there are consequences, both good and bad, to having a child, right? So it's like women see that and it's just, it's telling them, hey, like, it's okay to do these things. I won't do them, but I empathize, right? So you as a guy, you have to like really think about, I'm going to get with the modern women these days. Who does she look up to? You know, who does she think that what these women do is all right? Is it okay? Right? You got to dig a little bit because on one side, they may hear Logan Paul talking about like, oh, you know, I'm super in love with her. Do you know how many men say that before they delete themselves? A lot of men say that about their wives, you know. Yeah, they say, "Oh, I'm so in love with her." All Nina has to do now is to like confirm, like do something, one more thing, and he's done, you know. And I don't want that for any man. Same thing. The queen of Succubi that we haven't mentioned yet is the princess, the married Harry.
Markle.
Yes, Meghan Markle. She's, because we think that all Succubi are like Brittany Renner, which are like out of pocket,
right?
Disrespectful, chaotic. Well, should go to a mental hospital, right? She should go to a mental hospital at least for a month, you know, and get checked, evaluated. But Meghan Markle is an even sneakier Succubi because she's a princess, or you know, is in the royal family. You know, not anymore, right? But yeah, and it's just like
every super chat. Just to let everybody know, it's a Cloud Demon. Chris, thank you, my brother. Appreciate that. And remember, guys, please subscribe. Send in the super chats. Ask your questions. No problem. Join the channel. What Nuke brings up is super important because a Cloud Demon is essentially a guru like the Logan Paul that's out there, you know, broadcasting the men, do this, do that. I don't like that guy. Really creating drama for entertainment, but then extending it even further. And then supporting those sorts of philosophies. And Adam 22 would be another example of what we're talking about as a cloud demon, and it runs the gamut. It can be the grifter that's selling you something that doesn't actually exist, but he talks so well, makes you feel good about yourself. Or it can be the girl next door that's selling you a bunch of word salad in the hopes that someday you could achieve a marriage or relationship with a girl like that. Meghan Markle fits that bill. It's so sneaky because it appears to be the good girl, the princess, the one. And she broadcasts herself as the soulmate. And Nuke, you bring it up. I'm handing it back to you. That's fantastic that you made that observation. Sorry, I didn't think about that. That was really good.
Yeah, well, what happens is men will be like, "Oh, I wouldn't get with a woman like Brittany Renner. I'd rather get with someone like Meghan Markle, you know." And they see her, and they're just like, she's one of the worst succubi ever because she's tricking even more people to thinking that she's a good person and she's nice. But it's like, hey, she's convinced a prince, a literal prince, one of the most powerful people on the planet, where anywhere he would pop up, people would move out the way. You know, he's a prince. He's literally the most important royal family on earth. And she has taken him away from his family, right? I don't think any man who has a loving family, which, you know, there may have been some kind of drama there, but still, you know, your job is to be a royal family. And taking them to LA beyond podcasts and shows where they badmouth your own mom and dad. Like, how do you get from there? I don't care how bad my parents are. I'm not going to go on a worldwide kind of like platform like Oprah and tell them how bad my parents are, or write a book about how crazy my parents are, especially if they're one of the most important families. And especially if, you know, the queen wasn't so bad as a person. Yeah. She did pretty all right as a queen. You know, we're not perfect, but the point is, like, they come in all shapes and sizes, and a lot of the times it's the ones that we don't realize. Like, you'll see Nina.
You don't see
Nina
it.
doesn't have.
Sneaky. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see Nina at first, you just see, oh, she's just a hot beach girl. Like, she looks super hot and no tattoos, and she looks pretty chill. But then you'll have one of our a warrior like Dylan Dennis come in and fight the good fight and expose them. And a lot of men right now are getting a lesson in the third party, right? Because the great part about all of this is that it's not sustainable forever, right? Look at Steve Harvey. All he did was brag for a decade about how great his marriage is and telling us, apparently us lower folk, about how to love a woman. But look, he's getting divorced and embarrassed. Same thing with Will Smith. Hollywood was obsessed with their marriage, saying it was the perfect marriage. Look what happened. And obviously, I don't want anything bad to happen to these men. I don't want them to end it. But it's just a lesson that we're getting. And this is one of the reasons people hate the red pill too, is because we silently say what it is, and we're silently winning, and we don't have to do these giant diatribes or giant speeches, you know, because, you know, we've gotten what we wanted. So yeah.
One thing I just want to touch on what he was saying about like Meghan Markle, right? And she's probably one of the most dangerous ones out there because she's unassuming, right? She seems like a good girl. A lot of guys have this misconception of good girls versus bad girls, right? Oh, if she makes me wait for sex, oh, she's a good woman. She's wifey material. But if she puts out on a first date, oh, she's a whore. And it's they're all just women. They're all women. You can't judge them on that one particular thing. You really have to watch what they do over time to really get a good assessment of who they are as a person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, it's so true. You're so true. And that sneaky girl next door thing, that's the worst kind that can really damage you, because there's no firewall to our mind from this. I mean, I would say Prince Harry definitely got Poomatized to the 3rd degree. And every man can have this happen. Every single man has been Poomatized, understands what that is. It's so powerful. And here's the thing for the girls too that get sucked into this modality. They have no firewall from their girlfriends. The girlfriend has the bag. She's got the fancy life, or so it seems, because this cloud is casting this spell right in front of her, but it is not reality, and there is no firewall to stop it. And they're going to covet and want those things because essentially they're nothing more than adolescents. They stop their maturity at 18. We have fMRI studies that show this. So it's very risky, and leadership is required. One thing you'll notice, like when Brittany Renner was saying there was no leadership in the room, really. I mean, the woman's got a Black Widow tattoo on her neck. Okay. She's got a Baphomet tattoo. Well, it's actually Maleficent, which is based on Baphomet. You think there might be an issue when you're tattooing the greatest demons that have ever existed on your arm with a black widow? I mean, it's just maybe little things like that could be an issue. Now, maybe you like the bad girl.
Jezebel.
Potentially. So if you were to be involved with that, there's really no, there's no sympathy. Just be aware. If you're going to play with fire, make sure you have some asbestos gloves and condom ready. But yeah, really good point. The ones that don't seem like the girl next door. And I'll tell you, this next one these next two do seem like the girls next door. Then I want to get some old school thoughts from Wraith on all of this too. Take a look here, guys. Look at this. Okay. This is Destiny's wife. Look at her look. Very similar to Nina. And I've heard her speak. She sounds quite pleasant, quite pleasant. But listen to what she proposes here. And Pearl picks up on. Pearl is quite perceptive. Say what you will about her in the manosphere. I've spoken with her many times and in person. She's a perceptive young lady. I will say that for sure. And I like her. So take a listen to Destiny's wife as she kind of tells on herself.
Has happened.
Let's say you're dating someone from high school and then you're getting married to that person. And this high school kid, let's say that he grew up and his parents were just serving everything for him. He doesn't know how to cook. He doesn't know how to clean his room. He doesn't know how to even get a job or anything like that. Yep. And then this girl is doing pretty fine for herself, but that's the only thing she knows. And she has this sort of idea that she wants to have this guy and she wants to have sex after marriage. And then after they get married and she has sex with him, she meets a guy at work that has this energy of being in control and taking.
I wonder if this has happened to her. Sometimes
it seems very specific.
Yeah, like sometimes chicks tell stories and I'm like,
give themselves away.
Is that what happened to you?
Let's say you're dating someone.
Pretty damn interesting because women are very good at the sub communication. Look where she's looking. I'll just give you guys another pointer on body language and eyes. She's looking down. Those are memories. Those typically now, not every time. Those are memories. Anyway, you'll see that. And then when you see somebody asking the question and doing this number here, a lot of times they're being deceptive. Not every time. Something to keep in mind. Read a book like the Joe Navarro stuff from the FBI when they're doing interrogations. These are clues they look for. Memories. And it's not that they're 100%, but they give you a direction. And what Nuke had said earlier about pay attention to their history and what they believe is right and as far as their worldview, because it will come up to play with you. And especially you could really find out if you learn about their friends, because that's where they're getting a lot of this information from in how to act and behave. So if you were this gal's friend, then you were married, she's married, and she's broadcasting information like this, I see nothing but trouble for those relationships, because there's always going to be some kind of stressors, stressors of others being intimate inside those relationships. Maybe they have it set that way. Who knows? Let's see what else we got here. This one's interesting. Listen to this one. This is the next level. This is the next level, I think. This lady seems so damn nice. And I believe this is written. She reads off a teleprompter. She's very good, but she has that whole look. But if you look close, you'll find the bikini. You'll find the sexy stuff. But this is the next sales job that's going to become extremely popular amongst the Cloud Demons and Succubi.
There isn't a one size fits all when it comes to the amount of time you need to spend with a woman to know you're ready to commit to her. But time is important. There are certain things that you can only discover about a woman by spending time together. Seeing how she shows up and how you two interact with each other and communicate with each other takes time. So what I always tell my clients are to answer these 3 questions. What do you need to know about her? What do you need to experience with her? And what do you need to feel for her to know you're ready to take the next step forward? There isn't a one size fits all when it comes to the amount of time you need to spend with a woman to know you're ready to commit to her. But time is important. There are certain things that you can only discover about a woman by spending time together. Seeing how she shows up and how you two interact with each other and communicate with each other takes time. So what I always tell my clients are to answer these 3 questions. What do you need to know about her? What do you need to experience with her? And what do you need to feel for her to know you're ready to take the next step forward? If you feel like you can't be yourself around a woman you're into, you're overthinking, second guessing, over-investing, and self-sabotaging, dating tactics won't help. They don't solve the root issue. You are reliving the same disheartening dating experiences because there's something you're meant to learn before you can attract your dream woman for a lasting partnership. These are 3 signs you're subconsciously blocked in dating. You overthink everything you say and do. When you have a subconscious fear of rejection, you can't be yourself and trust won't build. You'll either try to be the man you think she wants you to be, or you'll shut down and pull away before she can reject you. You're constantly worried she'll leave. Having a subconscious fear of abandonment can be difficult. When you're constantly searching for reasons she'll leave, your energy shifts, your behavior changes, and attraction can't build. You find something wrong with her as soon as she gets close. Having a subconscious
Lack of abundance. Lack of abundance. It's that simple.
at a distance to avoid losing your freedom in a relationship.
She's talking about herself.
10 more plates, guys.
And she's talking about herself. And this is the grift. If you look at her and you look at her stuff, this is all about one-itis. She is presenting one-itis in a sales job. That's what's going on here. And she's projecting herself. These are thoughts that women have when entering relationships. But the sales job is very good and very smooth. So when Nuke brought up Meghan Markle, and she didn't appear like a succubus, which we all think we can see when we look at a Brittany Renner. But you really don't. When you look at a Nina Agdal or even Destiny's Wife, they looked like this.
Regular chicks, yeah.
This is that girl next door. This is what we want. This is what most men want. And they want to call her their own. They want her to call him.
This is that Madonna whore complex.
That's my man. And it plays into that. And the blue pill is strong here. That one-itis soul myth is so powerful. So, I mean, if you look at the word salad that's being presented, it's all about the emotion about it. It's tying it to that emotion of that one-itis. And I mean, look at how they cast her in the light. This is, and she's not the only one. There's dozens out there, thousands of followers. And it's scripted very well. This is the next level because this is what's going to have to compete with the AI, I think. The AI is going to really cut into the OF because that's just basically starfish navigation. This is something on another level. This is, I am the girl next door. You could have if you pay me enough, but there's no answers here I can see. Anyway, let me get all your thoughts
No
on
actionable advice.
Yeah, no actionable advice. I want to hear from everybody on the panel. I want to hear from Rafe. You've seen all of this stuff go on probably for the first time because you've been so busy actually helping men deal with this shit. So let's start with Rafe and let him talk about this stuff, man. Sorry to keep you quiet, buddy.
No, you're fine. I don't follow any of these people, and I don't pay attention to any of these people. So
that's the best solution.
Lucky you.
I think the real issue is if we go to society as a whole, but I want to talk about men because that's who I deal with. You can't understand what you want if you never tried to figure out what you want. Too many young men today and too many men today, even in the older ages, they watch TV to get what they think they need in their life. You're right, it's all sales. And when you start talking to men about what do you really want in life, they can't tell you. Because what they want is what they've been sold that they want. And when you understand yourself, you've done enough introspective work in yourself to know what your needs, your desires, and your wants are. You start judging people or gauging people by that, because what that does is that sets boundaries. I don't need to stay with a woman for 6 months to know that she's going to break my boundaries because she'll probably do it in the first day.
Yeah.
And once that boundary's broken, it's not up to me to save her from it. Yep. It's up to me to say, that's not what I want. And
that's passing those tests because we got a new episode on tests soon. Yeah.
And you can tell the difference between someone shit testing you and someone hard breaking a boundary with you.
Right.
Because if they're shit testing you and you push back, they're gonna walk back and say, hey, I was wrong. Or you're gonna notice it in their behavior change.
Right. I think you and I could easily do that, but I think that line does get blurred with a lot of young guys. That's why we talk to them.
Right. And that's the biggest thing I tell men. Once you understand what you want in life, you develop a frame around your life of how you're going to achieve that. You're gonna develop boundaries. And those boundaries are there for a purpose. If someone breaks a boundary or pushes against a boundary to the point of breaking, that's probably not a person you want to be with, because once they break that boundary, they're going to look for other boundaries to break. And it's not about control or anything. It's just about, I want a woman in my life that can make me happy, which in turn allows me to make her happy. You know, I don't want constant strife and struggle. I don't accept it in a relationship. I don't argue and fight with women. You
No,
know,
you'll lose that every time.
and
You
it's
don't have
just
to.
like I tell guys, you've got to be. Too many young men today are afraid, first off, that they're not going to get sex, which is not a primary function of a man, really. I mean, we all want to spread our seed, we all want to build the legacy, but if that's your only primary function, you've lost yourself. You've lost yourself in society, because society's whole point is to build new lemmings every year.
Right.
I don't want my kids to be lemmings, and I'm not one myself, and I don't want it for them. I want them to go out and to be the individuals that they are, whether it's my daughters or sons. But I want them to do it with an understanding that they have value other than sex for my girls. And that value comes in, what service they can do to man and what service they can do to mankind. And the same thing for my sons. I want them to be individuals that can go out and service mankind in a way that's positive and for them. And I'm not setting that tone for them about what is positive for them. I give them, knowledge, I give them understanding, but I also try to get them to develop a frame where they understand the boundaries and stuff that they need in life in order to survive. And that's not what we teach young men today. We don't teach them to survive. We teach them to exist.
Yeah, definitely human value is equal. That is undeniable. And that gets conflated and confused when we talk intersexual dynamics. We are very specific, but people hear something different than that. The human values that exceed sexuality, and even, it encompasses spirituality and all of those things. When we talk about intersexual dynamics, we tend to focus on the issues that we all face, and that there's differences between men and women, and a lot of men, white knights in particular, and women, and these cloud demons promote it, is those differences are human value. That is not what the red pill proclaims. Human value is not part of that discussion. We talk about sexual market value, dating market value, intersexual relationships when it comes to what happens when the sparks die down, how is it sustained? That's where human value comes into play. Sometimes we call it relationship market value. One of the things that really lack online is these are complex and multivariate behaviors, and they're not the quick hit one-liners that play on social media, which really plays into these cloud demons and these succubi. Seeking attention is the number one thing you can see. How much attention do they want to seek, and at what cost? I've written myself 3 particular things you can do for these gurus, and I'm going to do a whole episode of the Thunder on this. But I think that if you're going to look at this, works for gurus, priests, all of these things. When you see something that you find interesting, right, wrong, or indifferent, you got 3 tests you have to take over time before you should adopt this information wholesale. Does it pass the smell test? Does it smell right? What do you mean, Thor? Okay, is it more positive than it is negative? Remember, fear is the biggest seller of all time. If I can make you afraid of something, I can sell more stuff. That should be your first indicator. Because if I'm not afraid of what I'm selling positive, my information, I know I'm not going to get the most sales, but I'm selling something I deem as valuable that I want to cast forward. And that's something that will keep my interest. Rebound tests. This is for your gurus, your priests, your friends. How do they handle adversity with their frame? Do they collapse like a cheap house of cards, Paul, in the ring?
Ain't gonna happen.
Exactly. Or are they able to rise from the ashes like a phoenix without a lot of fanfare and come back even stronger like Rocky, right? In Rocky 2. So the rebound tests you have to see. It's not how far they fall. It's how well they pick themselves up. And that's really where it comes into, guys start drinking their own Kool-Aid and believing their own bullshit. You end up with a Steve Harvey situation, really hard to come back from, because you have all these people telling you how good you are and how awesome it is. And it's all a house of cards. And that's the next test. That is the durability test in the real world. That is contextually test what these gurus and what people tell you, all me included, Wraith included. Durability test is contextual in the real world. Does it actually work for people I know? Or does it actually work for me? Those are two different things. And if it passes that durability test over time, you probably got some very valuable information. And you got somebody that you can really extract some information for you to have that enlightened self-interest. Anyways, I wanted to bring that up. I'll do an episode on that. But
yeah,
Wraith
I just want to say this: don't take farming advice from a farmer that's starving to death. Don't take a relationship from someone who can't maintain or sustain a relationship.
Yeah,
and don't take attraction advice from someone that can't attract anyone.
Right.
I'm not trying to sell anything. I just want men, because that's who I deal with, to go out and be the best man they can be. And understand that, they have an ability to control the destiny of their life. You can't control everything that happens in your life, but you can control the decisions you make from the problems that pop up.
Yep. And I'm hoping you guys pull from this particular episode is a way to avoid these cloud demons, because they're everywhere and they influence you in every aspect.
Yeah, don't subscribe to them. That's how you avoid them.
But you're going to still hear them. You're going to hear them at the sports bar. They're going to be up on the screen. It's not just them. Your friends will ascribe to them and speak the same thing. So I guess
it's a weak society and it's a weak mind that listens to everything they see on a box.
Yes, it could, because it's easy. What does Rollo say? They want to be told the information, but more importantly, they want to be told how to feel about it. Because when you tell somebody how to feel about something, you create a seed of conviction. And that can be really powerful, and it could be completely wrong.
This is not my life. It's a tool. It's a tool to communicate with other people.
Now, don't tell that to the girls.
It's not my life.
Don't tell that to the girls, man. Girls don't listen to Wraith on that one. We got to keep our content going.
No, but I'm just saying, if you see something on Google, verify it.
And most of it's curated too. Just realize most of it's curated.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, you have to be adult enough and mature enough to start practicing some kind of discernment.
Right.
If you believe everything that everybody tells you, you'll believe anything.
Yeah, Mark Twain said something about that.
So
well, good.
But like I said, as far as all this other stuff, I don't watch any of these people, so I don't.
Well, let me give you a hypothetical. Let's have fun.
Okay.
I imagine that if you ran into a gal, you're in that room with Brittany Renner, you would probably just extract yourself. You're done for the day. I mean, she can go do what she wants to do. It was just one of those things where it made a detour here. She's out of pocket. I wouldn't sit there and tolerate. I cannot imagine you sitting through it, even to be polite.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And, and I think John, when there was such a big deal about John walking off a set, he told him he had to leave at a certain time.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
And he held it. I'm leaving at this time. I don't care what you guys are talking about, how you think that I've been treating you or you've been treating me. I've got another commitment. He honored his commitment. That's fine. Doesn't make him a weak man. It makes him a man of,
Well, there's a little bit of if you know anything about that history, there's a little bit of a setup from Natalie's side. And if you notice in the video I played today, when they talked about Nina Agadal dating 3 of Adam Sosnick's friends intimately, did you watch Natalie, the producer that was sitting there? She clapped.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about going on that show? She's a producer.
Not to.
Exactly. And I actually like Adam. I met him personally. He picked up one of my books, by the way. So thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. But as far as that environment, it just wouldn't be useful,
Yeah, like I said, I don't base my life decisions on what I see on YouTube, and or reading Google. If I read something, if I read something in a book, I go and try it. If it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for me. I walk away from it.
I will say this about YouTube, though. Aside from, there is pockets and gems of information that still slide through that are immensely valuable. I mean,
No, I'm not saying there's no value, and I'm just saying if I see something on YouTube and I think, well, hey, that may be right, I will try it in my own life.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
I agree.
I'm not gonna sit there and say, hey, I saw this on YouTube. You try it.
See that going, I preach that to guys that watch my stuff, right? Because there's a lot of guys that are like, I want to see the receipts. We're like, well, let me see your picture of your girl, you know, and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I've posted pictures of Nurse Chick online, but why does that matter to you? You know, that I got her like
receipts, receipts.
Like what should matter is what I'm telling you. Are you applying it? Go test it out. Don't take my word for it. Go test it out. If it works for you, great. If not, find another channel. I don't care. You know?
Well, and that's the thing. The social standard of beauty and attraction and stuff it's set up for magazines, TVs, and stuff like that. I'm not attracted to half the women on TV because
True, me
I
too.
see things. You know, maybe I like a girl with a little bit bigger butt.
I cannot deny.
Same with Nuke. Yeah, Nuke would agree with that.
Yeah, you know, you choose what you're attracted to. You know, and I mean, it doesn't matter to me if you like ugly girls, fine. I don't care if that's what you like. Go for it. If a woman likes an ugly man, go for it. If that's what makes you happy, and it's attracting you, and you're supportive of each other in a relationship, and you have those things that make you happy. But you still have to maintain a frame that makes you successful, makes you happy, and gives you the value that you need for yourself. That's like I said, I don't use red pill and blue pill. I think, you know, that they're placeholders. I get that. But, you know, is everyone going to be an alpha? Probably not. Is
Well,
everyone going to be,
yeah,
you know?
no, we've kind of debunked that whole thing anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally get it. I mean, you know, but you guys like you and me are a little bit different. We don't really need the accolades of fame, but I think that there is quite a generation that does extend right up into the millennials and then Generation X. That, you know, what was that famous artist that everybody will get their 15 minutes of fame?
I don't want any
I
fucking.
can't remember. And Andrew, you know, Warhol. I think there is a huge desire to get that, and that drives a lot of people on the internet. You know, not guys like you, Wraith. We're happy without all that. We're kind of private people, you know, in a lot of ways.
I just want to help. You know, I when I see some, you know, when a man comes to me and he's in trouble, I want to help him not be in trouble. I want him to start seeing things in a way that he shows that he can show he has benefit, even if it's just benefit to him and one other person. It's benefit, you know. And I don't need him to go in and tell everybody, hey, go watch, you know, Wraith Tour on YouTube. You've seen my YouTube. It's all this stuff. I'm not out there making videos on how to find women or any of that stuff. Everything I do is one-on-one with the individuals I do it with, because I want them to be better men. I want them to have a sense of self, a sense of worth.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sitting here telling men how to get laid. I don't have a problem getting laid. And if they do what I tell them to do, they won't either, because they'll be men within themselves, and they'll attract people that are attracted to that. They'll attract women that are attracted to that.
Yeah, and if you don't know what to do when it's time to get laid, you can talk to me. I'll tell you what's up.
Yeah,
I'll tell you how to make it successful.
You have instructional videos. Is that what you're saying?
Well, Sterling and I will work together. We'll make sure you understand the mechanics.
but you know, like I said, it's just too many guys are looking for the easy button, and you know, shaking my hand is not going to make you me, and I don't want you to be me. I want you to go be you, but I want you to be an asset to yourself and to others, because that's how we survive as a society.
Yeah, and that's a really difficult hurdle for a lot of guys, to tell them to be you when they don't really have a concept of a good masculine role model right now. I think that's really tough. That's a tough sell, because a lot of people are doing that right now with that word salad, like that beautiful young lady that was the girl next door saying, Wraith, you know, just be you and you're emotionally available. That's nothing useful. We have to use examples to young men. That's why rites of passage were so important. They set forth an example that delineated the difference between men and women. This is what it is to be a man. Women can't come here. And that,
Well,
that made you a
and
man.
rites of passage also define your values, your beliefs. Okay, because you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in something else in order to complete the rite of passage. Way too many young people today, they have no values. Their value is the 15 minutes of fame. Their
That's what I
value
was
is to
getting
be a
at.
content creator.
Yeah.
You know, and and I do values workshops with the guys I work with.
How
If you're
easy is it being a content creator, guys?
It's not.
It's actually a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Duke, how is it, man?
It's a lot of creativity, timing, and a lot of time online that you can honestly be spending doing other stuff. But you know, it's what I chose to do for the time being. So, but yeah, you sacrifice a lot of time. Yeah, you sacrifice a lot of time being online. Then you could be outside enjoying the day or doing other stuff. But you know,
I was
you chose
working
to do it,
until
so.
10 p.m. last night
That doesn't
because
surprise me.
I was I'm going to England here next week on Wednesday, and I'm one of those people that I'm consistent with the podcast, right? I won't miss a day.
I agree.
So next Friday, I'm not gonna be able to do a live stream. So I had to record a live, like a pre-recorded live last night, and then I had to sit down and do the notes for Rule Zero. You know, and I
Dude,
also have a day job.
I'm surprised
so
you
it's like-
jumped in and did that because I know what you were scheduling. So
yeah,
that's off, man. That's a lot of grind.
Well, it is not easy doing.
Put it out there
it's
for
not-
the other guys. They just didn't jump on.
it's not easy doing what I do. I mean, I have guys that text me all the time.
I know.
You know, and I mean, I was sitting on a text with somebody at 11 o'clock last night.
Mhm.
You know, trying, you know, and I deal with people just like you guys do all over the world.
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
for sure. Yeah.
You know, and I've got guys from all over the world texting me, hey, you know, can we talk for a minute, or and they're talking about talking in text. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that's very common today. Yeah, for sure.
you know, and the thing is when I work with guys, I don't charge them for the texting time. I charge them for the time that we're actually sitting there on this thing or in person talking.
Yeah, because you're
The
good. dude.
texting stuff is just, hey, you know, it's 20, 30, 40 minutes, sometimes an hour of you got this.
I think 14 cents per word would be a good rate there.
Probably
I,
so.
I charge for the texting time. But that's the lower tier, you know.
Yeah.
Lower
Hey,
tier,
guys,
you
I
get
gotta
unlimited.
stop
texting.
the show. I gotta stop the show.
You are nothing but unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit.
Okay, so those of you in the chat, there's only one like on RP Thor right now. Fucking serious. Come on, man. 42 a year in here and in and out of all the different shows. Whatever channel you're on, go push the like button.
What is your major malfunction, numbnut?
Cost you nothing. We do this essentially because we enjoy each other's company. We like chopping it up. We want to try to give you some different thoughts, tongue in cheek, have some fun. Help us have fun.
Smashing like is alpha, guys.
It is so dominant masculine presence and elegant feminine innocence. If you press that button, shout out to everybody in the damn chat. Kate Ann, Michael Priest. Look at all the people in the chat. I mean, they're all across the board. Guys, subscribe to all of these guys here. RP Thor, Paul, come on, man, pod. What an amazing podcast. This guy's always putting out content. I can't believe his grind. I'm very envious of his ability. Nuke is coming up. The Viking Dad Wisdom, complete ex Twitter slayer. And I'm sure he's going to be putting out more content. And he has a really fucking cool beard like Wraith. I mean, Wraith Dean Tor. He's out there with MLD. He counsels men with his ancient wisdom brought into the modern day. And it's very helpful, especially when it comes to guys that don't understand anything about frame. So he's got a YouTube channel. Everybody has a YouTube channel in here. Go and press the button, peoples. All right, back to it. The Cloud Demons and the Succubi. let's
had
do
some-
our final thoughts.
Just so you know, Dylan Dennis just posted another video during the show.
Is it good?
About Nina Agdal. Just
Dude,
during the show.
throw it into the share.
It's her at a yeah, hold on.
Let's look at the
I'm
Succubi.
sharing it right now. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Drop in the private
Yeah,
chat
this
so
is
that
really
Thor can bring it up.
Sure. You can do that, or you can access the present.
Working on it now.
That works. No worries.
I did want to say something about the one video you were showing where the girl was screaming and stuff.
Oh, I heard.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. What it does for men, when men sit there and take that, it tells other men that that's okay. And that's not the message that I send out. That's why I wouldn't take it. I'd turn the camera off, and if everybody hated my channel after that, that's just the way it is.
That's say what you want about Fresh and Fit, but that's one of the good things about them is if a chick's really acting out of pocket, they kick her off the show. Get off
I
the
have
show.
no issues with any of those. I think those are.
Yeah.
I think those do more good. Those shows do more good than they do bad. I think you could get consumed with the entertainment value.
Yeah.
I think you could do that, and you could get way too involved, and that's part of what I was talking about with Cloud Demons and Succubi. You can get so wrapped up into it, but in the general
Holy
overall
crap! Sorry.
those things. Oh, did you get it up yet? I didn't see it. You can either send me a private link, or you can share. Is it pretty funny?
You're
I think he
muted or
dropped his
something.
one. Yeah, he muted himself.
All right. Maybe I can pull it up then.
Well,
Bear with.
while you guys are working with that, though, one thing I'll say about any of this kind of stuff is you really need to, great thing that Ryan Stone says in this book. I love plugging Ryan's book, right? He has a story from a guy named Whisper on there called "Put this bucket on your head right now," right? And the idea is that online you see a lot of people telling you how you should live your life, how you should feel about stuff. Basically, you need to think of it like someone's in a bucket saying, "Hey, you need to put a bucket on your head," right? Whether you should do it or not, it's like you really just want to look at, is that guy's life better for having that bucket on his head? If his life's better, okay, maybe I should try it, right? But if not, don't fucking do it, right? So any of this other stuff, you sort of have to apply that idea towards it. Is this going to help me out? If not, just take it for what it is. It's entertainment.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm going to get this up right now.
Yeah, this one's pretty bad.
Okay.
It's going to get us
I
demonetized.
actually think this is the worst one.
Okay, here we go, gentlemen.
It's pixelated out. It's pixelated out,
Okay.
but it shows she flashes the camera, but it's pixelated.
Perfect. Okay,
It's
cool.
really bad.
A deep insight into her personality, right?
Yeah, it's pretty bad now. Like, there's no way this can be such. Like, there's no way Logan is like.
Hang on, it didn't full screen. Guess it's
Yeah,
not.
just play
going
it. Just play
to.
it like that.
Right. Yeah,
virgin. Yes. Touch for the very first time. I love.
Yeah.
Yes. Touch for the very first time.
A virgin, huh?
Yes. He just writes, interesting.
Interesting. This is back.
That's
on
all he
Golden.
writes. That's all he writes on
Interesting.
every video.
Interesting or good morning. Look at this one. This one right here. All aboard. Oh, shit. All aboard. Look at all those guys. How about this one?
Oh my God.
Oh. Uh-oh.
See,
the guy understands psychological warfare for sure.
But
it's
do you
not
guys-
like this wasn't invited. It was invited.
Do you
oh
guys see?
no.
Do you guys see how important it is for guys like this to exist? He's not like a super guru, right? But he's like an older brother, kind of telling him, like, "Bro, are you serious?
Bro, what are you doing?"
Yeah, that's so important because, yeah, wow,
Interesting. So let's talk about her just for a second because I want to close with this. So I've met girls that have lived a life and they've been lots of body count and they want out. They have difficulty dating because of the public nature of this. If I was to offer advice, if I'm just going to make it baseline based on my experience, I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. I lived my 20s as a 304 like this. Now, if I didn't live it publicly, I would have a better shot at least getting a man of value's foot into the door to see if there's any other value there. Would you guys agree with that? Once it's public, it's a real problem.
I would, because this is why, like, asking a girl what her body count is kind of dumb, because women will never be honest with you about it. If she has no public record like this chick, then it's you think she's only had 1 or 2 relationships probably, and she's probably some good girl. And if she's holding out for me, well, look at this, she's wifey material. And there's plenty of guys that will fall for that. So
I think it's about 30 to 40% of the problem out of the mix based on the destruction of status.
Just go back to high school. Okay. Everybody knows in high school there was the one girl that everybody knew slept around.
Yeah.
Do you really think the other girls weren't sleeping with guys or having sex as teenagers? No, they were. They just weren't allowing it to get public.
Right.
They weren't blabbing about it.
Right.
Right.
And if a guy said that, she denied. The guy said, "Yeah, I slept with her." She denied. These girls don't deny. They just they want everybody to know about it.
They advertise. Now,
open hypergamy. Yeah.
Now, I propose that these gals, when they get into that settle down phase in their late 30s or in their mid 30s, and they really want to have a relationship with a man, they actually truly want to. They're beyond the need, but they want it. They want it really bad. What could they actually achieve? Because most of the men of their value is they're shopping in the wrong price range, essentially at that point. So if they really wanted to lock down, I think here's my solution. Is going to piss a lot of gals off. But if let's say you've had this illustrious type of career where it's obvious that the body count's extremely high, I think the older you get, the less that matters. But here's the problem. The problem is that status situation. And if you want to shop in that high price range, here's your solution. Be happy being number 2 or number 3. If you can be number 2 or number 3, you have a place with a relationship with a man. I know it's going to sound horrible, but for centuries, men have had more than one wife, or they've had mistresses on the side, but that's where you're positioning yourself to have a longer term relationship with the man that you want, not with the man that, you don't have to shop down. If you're shopping up, this is where you're going to end up. And some gals are perfectly happy being that. But that's about it. Guys don't want their statuses destroyed. It's really important to keep reputation. Isn't that one of the laws of power? Guard your reputation with your life. Reinvent yourself always. And that's about.
See that they are using a reputation in a sense, that because that's the new reputation. That's what society says has value right now.
It'll turn to those girl next doors that are still doing it, but they're concealing it.
Right. I mean, I think, like I said, I'm not saying they're going to, go out and get the exact guy they want. But the problem is, like you said, it's a societal thing where, women use that as a value.
If you're doing that, essentially you're a sex worker. What do you guys say to that?
I'd say in essence, that's probably true.
In spirit, yeah. If you choose that, you chose to be a sex worker that publicly, you'd be lucky to have number 2 slot with a high value man.
Or just marry a preacher.
Let him say
not a high value man.
Yeah.
Shopping down.
I mean, they can always change their name, move to a small town, and
I don't do that anymore.
I don't know, man. You think you could do that? You think you get it? Well, if they can get plastic surgery to turn themselves into Bratz dolls, could you turn yourself into, Sue Ann from next door, and then it'd be okay? I don't think you can go backwards. It's just like
sundress and a big hat's all you need.
Once a woman has that alpha widowing, she can't go back. There's a ratchet inside there that locks in place and can't slip backwards. There's a ratchet brake for ratchets. For ratchet hose, there's a ratchet brake.
Well, I had something on that too, because I think that there is a section of guy that we don't realize that has fantasized a succubus. Because
true,
I know Nuke watches anime, I do too. And I've noticed that every time, like, this is becoming like a growing fad in a lot of the anime genres, is there will be a succubus character, right? It's a very powerful, very beautiful woman, okay? And then there'll be this very scared, very shy boy
Oh,
main
yeah,
character. And
Mhm.
he will make some kind of pact or some kind of agreement with her, and they will help each other. And she will instantly become like genuinely infatuated with him, even though he is a beta male, because now he has come into some kind of power with her. And it's almost like a reverse Disney fantasy, where I'm seeing this
Yeah.
over and over and over, where
Oh, geez, yeah.
this 304 with magical powers all becomes linked with this low value boy, and it's happily ever after.
Well, it's
And you see it
because he
again,
gives her
again.
value. He gives her value at that point in her life.
Yes.
And
Nice
she
play on the save a hoe concept. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
age
man.
old. It crosses all cultures, you know.
And they're
Yeah.
writing
Yeah.
it. The guys are writing it. So they're writing their own fantasies.
Yep.
And it's getting like top 10 anime views, best show out there.
Sure.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah. It's,
When you look at it with a calculated eye, Nuke, and a Viking Dad, you can see why when I point to the girl next door, the spell she's casting with the Poonmatization, the one-itis, and you could join her private group. She's only got 4 slots open. Come join. Come fill my slot. I mean, come on, people.
Well-
it fits right in, does it not?
well, okay. So I thought about the psychology a lot about why high value men go for very notorious women, whether it be notoriously famous women, notoriously women that are famous for probably the wrong things. You'll see rappers, singers, artists, politicians. They, instead of going for like maybe uh someone in their social circle, like a classy girl or someone that won't ruin their reputation as whatever they are, they go for like a celebrity of their equal standing. You see this with Kim Kardashian, right? Kanye West, for example, his first girlfriend was a hairdresser, when he was up and rising, a really sweet down to earth girl. And then his next girlfriend was like Brandy. Brandy was a singer, but she was still a classy singer. She dated also Kobe Bryant, but she was very like, she never showed her body. She wasn't twerking. She was like your classic R&B singer. And then the next girl was Amber Rose, right? Now you see the pattern. And the next girl was Kim Kardashian. And now Bianca Censori. And these women slowly over time, the men, as they gain more status and more influence over the world, they tend to try to go for more like crazier, more chaotic women. Just very interesting to see that. You see that in a lot of celebrities too. And then like for the us, the common man, you see this, you're just like, why not? You had all the endless options. Why not get if you're going to settle down, why not get a normal girl, train her to be your wife, like in the sense of, hey, I'm famous. This is what you can't do because my brand depends on this. So this is what you must do here. Sign this here and let's be happy together, have children. But instead they go for the queen of succubuses like Kim Kardashian, any of the Kardashians, which that's a succubi family, and they're a succubi factory because they influence other women to become that.
There is an
It's just like,
imagery that
why
surrounds
is
that.
it that like?
So I'm going to
Yeah,
say
and then-
I'm going
and
to
then
say this. I'm
men
going to
see
use
that,
something
and-
that we use. I'm going to use something we use all the time.
Okay.
Okay. And I tried to explain it this way with what I told this one guy. 100% of the women want 1% of the men, and the most they can get is 20%. So there's 80% of men out there with no women, if that's true.
Mhm.
Okay. From a man's standpoint, 100% of men want 1% of the women. Okay. And they can only get roughly 20%. So it's when you're a 1% man, your ego and the self-value, because your self-esteem gets screwed up and your self-value gets screwed up. All right. When people are telling you you're the best at everything every minute of the day, it screws with your head.
I get
So
sick of hearing it, honestly.
Yeah, me too. But the problem with it is they
Very
think they
natural for
deserve.
me.
Yeah, they think they deserve that 1%, and unfortunately, if you've ever been with a woman, say it's 1% of looks or 1% of anything, they're so wrapped into being that 1% of whatever it is that it's almost insanity. It becomes narcissistic.
Oh yeah.
And so you have two narcissists looking for each other, and that's what you end up with.
Yeah, that's
You know,
for
and
sure.
Kanye said it. Kanye said it himself. He said once you become famous, you stop improving. Like there's no really way up. And then it's just like it's just very interesting that we see this and everyone's just it's like a race to the top, but honestly it's a race to the bottom because you've
Why do you
gotten
stop
everything.
improving?
You're
Why do you stop?
well, that's
improving?
what Kanye said.
No,
Well, yeah,
but I'm just
because
saying.
no one tells you. Yeah, no one tells you you suck.
Drink your own
Everyone's like,
Kool-Aid.
"Right this way, sir." Yeah,
You drink your own
everyone's
Kool-Aid. I'm
like,
so good. People do this
"You're
for me.
perfect."
They do that for me. You know, famous women actually discount themselves from fulfilling long-term relationships 100%.
Right.
There's very few, and I can name a couple, but I won't do it here. There is a few that actually left their fame to raise families. They are not
Yeah.
visible. If you think hard enough, you'll realize who they are. But because there's very
Eva
few.
Mendes.
Yeah.
I think Eva Mendes
It's up
with
to-
Ryan
they
Gosling,
leave
she
the
did it.
fame. You have to abandon that. You have to. When you have that level of fame and attention, it is destructive to your relationship always. Sorry, it is. They discount themselves, and yet you see tons of them running around on the TV shows. I have the key to the best relationship ever. Total bullshit. They're drinking their own Kool-Aid. Men too. They get this level of fame. Look at Steve Harvey. He wrote a relationship book with a woman so that it actually was made for women about men. And then he broadcast it. How well did that work? You know, the interesting thing about Steve Harvey is he actually was a player early on. So he understood enough to get to where he was at. And he scored, but then he drank the Kool-Aid and he kept drinking it. And you start believing your own shit after a while. All of us actually start to believe our own shit after a while. And we don't even realize that we're on our knees and we're smelling our own ass is what we're doing.
Sometimes you have to test yourself because nobody else will.
Yeah, and we need our friends like Ray to kick me in the ass and say, fuck, Thor, you really want to do that? No, you're right, Ray. I don't want to do that. You know?
Well,
That's what it's like.
and you do the same for me.
Absolutely.
You know,
That's why it's important for guys to have, you know, groups like this, like the DragonShip and stuff like that, where they can
beer club,
you know, just, you know, any kind of men's group where, you know, take women out of it and just guys talking guy stuff. Cause guys will be like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? You know, and guys need to hear that stuff, you know?
Logan Paul Logan Paul, and it's better to hear it from your friends than your enemy, right? Because imagine your enemy like Dylan Dennis right now is literally giving you what you needed to hear behind closed doors before you married somebody, but he's giving it to him, you know, raw out in the open, ruining his reputation, right? And you know, you can go on as many podcasts as you want saying, no, I love my wife, we're actually closer together, but you're not fooling anyone, right? You're not fooling anyone. Like, I don't care how understanding you are of a woman's past, a girl flashing her, you know, herself, you know, like I don't wish that on any man, right? So it's like someone should be monitoring his mental health. Someone should be checking up on Logan.
Well, she doesn't
every
even
hour. Someone should go in and make sure he's all right.
Yeah, she's not even offering him the opportunity to say, but she's changed. You know, at least if he had that, you know, but she's not even offering the opportunity to that.
Those two are like the Batman Joker dynamic, Dylan and Logan, except for both of them are the Joker. It's like he's trying to help him, but he doesn't get it because he's just a psychopathic.
Yeah. Well, one thing you got to say is when you start to understand this stuff, the world of entertainment is a beautiful thing. I could be entertained by hours sometimes listening to some of this stuff. In fact, it's a danger on Twitter, isn't it, Viking Dad? Because sometimes just engaging that, I'm laughing my ass off for an hour baiting people, and I realize, what the fuck am I doing this for? It's fun as hell to me, but there's no need to do it.
It's so fun. Yeah.
Well, we live in real life too, and we know that what they're saying is BS because we're living the opposite of what they're doing. And it's just like when you're talking about, when Wraith's talking about the 80% and 10% and maybe 100% and 1%. What you don't talk about in that situation as far as real life goes with this kind of stuff is, what about the guys that married that girl and she's still going to get that 1% while they're married?
Right.
They don't even think about that because they
real.
married her. So
Steve Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It all comes down to values.
Will
it all comes
Smith.
down to you understanding your values and what you want in your life. And if your value is fame, you're going to get fame. And sometimes fame is dark, and sometimes it's not. If you want dignity, integrity, honesty, you're going to attract people that do that are going to return that as you give it. But if you're all out there with, fame, money, and all that stuff that's kind of on the dark side of life, that's
You
what
pay
you're
with
going
your
to
soul.
attract. You're going to
You pay
attract,
with your soul.
you're going to attract people that, want that from you or with you. And that's who you surround yourself with.
As you get famous, you get more insulated.
Right.
Because people are trying to protect what you have become, which is a brand. And while you're in that bubble bouncing around, you're bouncing the stuff off yourself and you're not getting anything new. And that's what's happened to Logan is, I don't know if you guys even seen him interact with his brother, but he's very mean to his brother. And I'll hear them interacting, and I have a brother, and I'm thinking, why are you talking to your brother like that? Like that is, and he has this very intense look on his face the whole time he's talking. And you can tell his
there's
brother
something-
has never just taken a 2x4 to his jawline before and just settled him down. And it has metastasized into this big thing because I don't talk to my brother and I are 10 years difference. I can take him any day of the week, but it has never turned into that because there was always a dynamic of brother and brother with us to respect each other. He doesn't even have that for his own kid, on his own kin. So you could tell he has just completely lived in this delusional bubble. And that's what he's done with her. He has put that in the delusional bubble. And he can't afford to let that crumble because then his little reality is going to go away. So he markets it like he does it on purpose, but that's his whole reality.
Yeah. It's interesting what you guys bring up. I want to bring it back to Logan. I want to bring it back to Steve Harvey, Will Smith. And think of it this way. Those men, for the most part, in average America, average West, would be deemed upper 10%, maybe even 1%, right?
Easy.
They certainly, I can point to the 7 skills of a dominant masculine presence, express at least 3 of those skills above average. They absolutely do. And whether they're alpha or beta or not, that's what really counts. But the problem here is, even though they did that, those guys all got poonmatized. They didn't adhere to the red pill principles, particularly about setting their boundaries up front, Wraith, their frame, maintaining their frame around who they are and what they will tolerate and what they won't. And that actually degraded their relationships with these women. And for the average guy out there looking at those guys saying they're top 1% guys, if this shit happens to them, I guess I got to be happy if she only cheats twice on me with the pool boy.
They can do no wrong though. That's what they don't realize. If you're lower 80%, you can't live like them. You're in a totally different reality.
I know. This little device right here says you can to all those girls.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real Cloud Demon telling you can, telling the girls they can.
Mm-hmm.
And life is so much more broad than that, so much more fulfilling, and it's an amazing thing when like you guys have really good relationships with women. When you set that frame and those boundaries, and they're pretty well understood, it's actually pretty seamless. And it's kind of fun being with a woman that you're having fun with, enjoying their company. All that stuff that we talk about goes kind of out the window. Even as you age, you could engage with a woman that has an immense body count, and you can laugh and roll and have all kinds of issues. It doesn't mean you have to wife them up. It doesn't mean, guys, in a red pill, you don't need to shame them. They already freaking know.
Yeah, they already know. Just play the game and entertain.
Yes, they don't want you to explain the rules and why you'd use a 20-sided dice to determine her skill set here and the amount of bodies that she's had, the measurements of dick between it goes here and there and wherever it's gone. And no, just play the game and then move on.
Imagine these people, they've never been like red pilled in a situation. They've ever had their reality crushed. And it's going to happen eventually. It happens to all of them. Then they kind of try to put the pieces of the Legos back together and somebody's broke them and melted them. But they've never had that red pill moment. Like Ryan Stone talks about his red pill moment of like a girl will do something in front of him and he's just like, okay. Like imagine you're in a casual relationship with some girl and after you do the deed, she's like, do you think I should just call him and be up front and just be like, hey, should we sleep together? And she's talking about another guy with you casually, like it's no big deal. And because you're casual with her, even though you're sleeping together, and that kind of flips a switch in your head where you're like, okay, so this is how girls can be.
Yes, sir. Hey, shout out to George Bruno, man. This is RP Thor. I'm putting you up for today. Had 2 top 1% women in my life. One was a known supermodel. The other's a European economist. They do love status, and their monkey branching Wi-Fi is always scanning for a stronger signal. I will tell you this: all women, monkey branching Wi-Fi is always searching for a stronger signal, just like all men have a base level of a starfish navigation system.
So I dread.
I got a quick hack for you guys that are using dating apps. If you match a girl and things are going good, go back to her profile about 1 or 2 weeks after you meet and tell me if there's new pictures on there. There you'll
her
have your answer
profile
right
or her profile. Was that profile you said? Profile or profile?
No, profile. Profile.
Oh, I thought you said profile.
Yeah,
I
so
bet
you'll
she has a profile.
Yeah, that's a little black book.
All girls have a profile.
Yeah,
You know.
but yeah, if you guys match, you start to see this woman and everything's going good. 2 or 3 weeks later, go into her profile and see if she updated her thing. If she is constantly updating her profile, meaning she's still on the prowl, she's seeing if that radar, she's seeing if something better. It's endemic to all level of women. But the thing is, with more, I guess, higher status women, it's just on. Like they're just constantly scanning the room, and because that's how they got there in the first place. So it's just like you can't turn it off. So
they might tell them themselves. They might just send you a screenshot, a picture of somebody's profile on there about, look at this loser, and you're like, okay, so you're still on there. All right, cool.
Yeah, and guys,
yeah, they do that too. Yeah, definitely.
What is it with guys constantly sending dick pics, man? Now I see girls.
Y'all don't do that with like each other.
It's a Hail Mary.
You just compare them with each other.
I actually see some of the guys that are a little bit leaning towards the OF. I've seen them advertise, I rate dick pics here.
Mm-hmm.
And they pay to have their dick pic rated. You seen that?
Have you seen the ones where guys will actually pay to have a chick humiliate them and talk about how little their dick is and shit?
Yeah, it's
guys
like
will pay for that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I evidently don't spend too much time doing what you guys do. I can tell you that.
Well, how do you think we learn about this stuff, Wraith? We're in the field, okay? We're in the field.
These are field
we're doing research.
Yeah. We're enemy lines in the wokest of woke territory.
I would say you stand in a field with a bunch of cow patties. That's about the best I can tell.
That's what. That is true.
Go to TikTok and see all the live streams.
If your gal asks for a dick pic, you can send it to her, but it must show your unit in another girl. That's the proper way to send a unit.
Yeah.
If she asks for it,
you know
she's
what?
asking
Send them a video
or the pic of it in action.
No face, no case.
It will create an alpha widow. She asked for it. Oh, well, honey,
Tell
you
her,
just
tell her
asked
how
for it.
you got to turn the sound on though.
Oh, you didn't tell me what the context or how'd you want it? Did you want it by itself or did you want
Exactly.
to?
I just had
It's
this
a
file.
resume,
I just
right?
hit send.
I'm telling you. Now that's the one you want. The one with the sound.
Yep.
And the one
I
with it
turned it
kind
into
of
a 3-second
disappearing.
GIF.
Oh, you didn't tell me you just wanted it by itself. Damn.
Hey, that might actually work.
Succubus, am I right? Succubi, am I right?
Hey, if they're going to be a succubi, at least throw a
jeez.
little bit of cloud demonists back at them, right?
Yeah.
King demon.
That's probably how Nina and Logan met. You know, she probably
I
asked.
know,
She probably
probably.
asked for a pic, and he was like, "Yeah."
Oh shit.
God bless them.
Now, just so you guys don't think I'm totally uninformed, I do have X now, I guess, Twitter, whatever it is. And I am on there. I read. I just don't go out and post
Oh,
a
you
bunch
do?
of
Okay,
stupid
cool. Well, Twitter's
I just don't post
interesting.
a bunch of stupid
Yeah.
stuff.
He's shadow scrolling.
I want to learn about society. I don't want to participate in it.
Oh, now you're missing all the fun then, man. You got to get on the roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
It could be worse.
I
He
know,
could be
I
like
know.
in his basement, you know, smoking weed, watching the world go by and not
Yeah.
participating like a lot of these guys are doing though.
Dude, there's economy set up for it. And then with this new Apple Vision thing, holy shit.
I haven't seen that yet. What's that?
Yeah, it's the next level VR. Real expensive right now, but fully interactive, and you can see backgrounds, and you know you could actually wear it. And there's cameras on the outside and the inside, and it makes things interactive. Very sci-fi.
Yeah, there's speaking of being a dork again, there's anime right now that's like that.
Mhm.
That's some of the popular anime is where they put on the visor headset in the show and they become a different character, and it's like VR, and sometimes it'll interact with them going
In the
down the
show,
street and there'll be things on the street that's different. Yeah.
Yep. That's pretty interesting because, you know, when it's mobile enough, they'll at least, you know, you might actually be outside and you can see, so you're safe. But then there's these little, it'll adapt into that gaming thing where you're on this adventure. I could see. I mean, that's where they're
Pokemon
going.
Go.
Yeah, exactly.
His store why I had to buy a new computer for my 8-year-old computer. So
Wraith will be he'll be a virtual reality expert soon. No worries, guys. Yeah, I might have to get one too for all my OF picks. I don't know.
Yeah, gotta start a file so I can start selling them.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Okay, we got to wrap up, man. We've talked a lot about Cloud Demons and Succubi, and well, you should probably enjoy their presence, but definitely don't buy into their bullshit.
Just stop taking them so serious. These guys take them so serious all the time. It's like you can tell that you don't get many women because you're
know.
sitting there taking the
Yeah.
304 that doesn't want to be taken seriously.
Oh, you know what
Yeah.
cracks me up on Twitter? You could make a general statement, and everybody that responds thinks you actually singled them out by name.
I can't believe you would do that.
Especially girls. It's the best, man. You could say, you know, women generally do this. And it's like, how dare you say that about me? It's like, wait, what?
You can use that. Like, that's very,
Huh?
it's very feminine. It's very feminine activity too, because you know a lot of guys they act like that, but it's a prime
Dude.
example of you posting something on Facebook or Instagram, and then a girl private messaging you, "Hey, is that about me?"
I've had that, and not only have I had that,
That's
yeah,
what
there's
that's
some
like.
weirdness that comes in too, where it's like, oh, I smell a setup or something, and I blocked, because it's just too out of the social norm. So yeah, there's waters to swim in, but there's always bigger fish. Watch out for them. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so shall we roundtable? Let's start with Wraith, man. What are you up to? Where can we find you? And where can we get this fantastic wisdom and avoid all this bullshit?
It's Wraith_Dean Tour on Facebook, Telegram. Let's see, what else am I on? Instagram and X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I'm on all those, and you can contact me on there. Basically just been working. Like I said, I'm working with a group of men right now, and sure John's got something coming up here in the next quarter or so that I'll be participating in. If you hit me up and you want individual coaching, I can do that. Or if, you just want to talk to me one time, we can do that. It doesn't matter to me. But um, the whole thing is, talking about what we're talking about. Don't let the information network be your only filter for what's right or wrong. Start developing some values and start finding values that serve you in a positive way. Because if you're getting served in a positive way, you'll be able to serve society as a whole in a positive way. That's all I got.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate that. If it's a Marxist society, fuck that. Anyway, Viking Dad, what's going on, man? Where can we find you on Twitter? What the hell's going on here? Are you out there slaying them cloud demons and succubi?
Oh yeah, that's why sometimes I won't be able to be on these live streams because I'm out on the weekends, just being an absolute hoodlum.
Oh, doing real shit on your motorcycle, huh?
Hanging out with people, interacting in the real world. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. But you can find me on Twitter, Viking Dad. You can find me on Instagram, Viking Dad Fitness. And those are the two that I'm on most of the time. And then you can find me on YouTube, Viking Dad Wisdom.
Excellent. Appreciate you coming in today to talk about this really important subject right here. Nuke, my good friend and fellow member of the DragonShip officially. What's going on? Where can we find you? And what are you doing this week? You going to do a post-zero tomorrow?
You guys? Yeah, I'm doing a post-zero tomorrow. You guys can find me. I just put my link tree in the chat. Link tree, Nuclear Galileo. All my links are there. I'm usually on x.com causing a whole bunch of ruckus. And yeah, tomorrow I'll be doing a post-zero at 10 a.m. with some of the guys from that. And then continuing to do live streams throughout the week. So yeah, guys, follow me there, and thank you for your support.
Fantastic. Paul, what you got going on? I know you're headed out of town, but you got things planned.
Yeah, man. Just tune into the podcast. If you go to comeonmanpod.com, it's available on all major podcast platforms. And I do new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Typically, Wednesday and Fridays are live. This Wednesday, it's going to be live, but this coming Friday is going to be a pre-recorded live. So that one, the pre-recorded live, I did it last night, recorded it last night. It's on, what is it called? I can't think of it. It's Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Stoicism.
Yeah. So I just finished that. It's actually real short. It's only like 2 hours long audiobook. It's very short. And so I did like the top 15 sort of takeaways from it. And one thing I never realized until I listened to it was he's kind of a law of attraction guy. He talks a lot about thoughts and how it impacts your world around you and how, the universe is all connected and all that woo-woo stuff. That's that I love. I just eat it up. But it's good stuff. So I talk all about that. So definitely tune in for that. That's going to be this coming Friday. Other than that, I've been plugging the beer club pretty hard, and the next beer club meetup is going to be September 28th. So I think I uploaded the commercial for that, so we'll play that here.
Yeah, I'll take it out with that and the book as well. And once again, I'm RP Thor, guys. Take a look at a dominant masculine presence on Amazon. It's my new book. I'm going to start doing some thunders and breaking down the different skill sets and why it's actually important as a man to acquire a dominant masculine presence about yourself, and why rites of passage has actually assisted men in doing this across every culture on the planet has had this. There is a reason for things like this because it delineates the differences between men and women, and actually it improves everybody's lives because it puts men in a cultural and a mental framework where they can go beyond what they think they can in times of strife and hardship. And that's what's really important about leadership, is becoming those transformational leaders in your own life. So check out A Dominant Masculine Presence. Look over on becomedurable.com, and you can definitely get signed copies of the book really at retail cost. You just got to pay for shipping. So it's hardback, it's softback. We have the Dragons membership. We meet once a month. Wraith's in there, Paul's in there, guys come in and out. Come check it out. It's a chop up session. Sometimes we have lectures from well-known folks in this space. So you might want to check that out as well. There's also video lectures available there. And the link I just shared is a free chapter audio. It is actually the audiobook version of free chapter of A Dominant Masculine Presence. It is on the 7 skills of a dominant masculine presence. Now, you go to the Gumroad and you buy it. It says $5. You don't have to pay that. Use the code free DMP or Rule 0 fan. Doesn't cost you a thing. And you can get a video with it. So you could listen to it at YouTube at fast speed if you want. And there's a bunch of stuff in the video that's extra. Or you can download the MP3, take it with you, and enjoy that chapter because there's a lot of actionable information in there. So this concludes another episode of the DragonShip, where a rising tide lifts all ships. And we are that rising tide. Skull, MFers. Masculinity is in crisis. What are we to do? We need to acquire a dominant masculine presence. Now available on Amazon. Masculinity is in crisis. Men's masculine behaviors and traits have been suppressed by popular culture. Why has it become so popular to shame, guilt, insult, masculinity, and masculine behaviors? After 50 to 70 years of this has resulted in a very large subset of men who have become weak, useless, and crisis. Pathetic state for boys and men that leads to depression and violent despair. A dominant masculine presence addresses this very dilemma for the individual man, and it firmly establishes why this is what is desperately needed by the individual man today. In this book, clearly defined masculine traits and behaviors and the emotional durability provided by traditional masculinity are presented as a guide to what every man should embed into his identity. Putting these principles and behaviors into practice will motivate and direct your path step to step to create for yourself an authentic, dominant masculine presence.
Here's a harsh truth that everybody gets upset about online when I say it. They get upset because of their ego investment into the fairy tale idea of love and partnership. They get upset because of their ego investment into the idea that their woman is their best friend, their confidant, and they think that love will conquer all, and that their woman will be there through thick and thin. The truth is that as a man, your woman is hardwired biologically and psychologically to want you to be her rock. It doesn't work the other way around. Women do not care about your struggles as a man. They may think they care. They may even want to care, but her evolutionary DNA will not let her care. If you bring her your problems, she will lose attraction for you over time, and she will leave. Now, whenever I talk about this, people lose their minds and start talking about men unaliving themselves. The faster that men learn that women don't care about our struggles, the faster we'll save the lives of men. Men off themselves because of their own ego investments in the Disney fairy tale line. And when that fairy tale goes up in flames, they get zeroed out and they end things. Men do need a proper outlet for dealing with their problems, but going to their woman isn't the answer. Men need a tribe. They need a brotherhood. That's why I created my beer club. It's a monthly virtual hangout for men only. It's a place where men can be men. It's a place where men can talk about guy stuff without having to worry about offending women. It's a place where they can go without having to worry about being called toxically masculine. It's a place where they can go to solve their problems. Because men solve problems. Women cause problems, you dig? Visit beer.comeonmanpod.com. That's beer.comeonmanpod.com to sign up.